y'all doing today? All right, so today we are going to be painting inspired by Monet's Bridge Over Water, and we're going to just keep the name Bridge Over Water. So as always, we are going to start off with just our black outline. So go ahead and just grab one of your small paint brushes. You can give it a dip in your water, give it a wipe on your paper towel, and just kind of tap it in your black. We don't want it too heavy. So I'm just wiping it a little bit. All right. So let's just outline pretty much anything that is in pencil. And if it's just a random miscellaneous mark, go ahead and just make that mark too. It's just going to add a little bit more detail into whatever we're rendering at the time. All right, so just keep it going. Not too thick. And some of you will have some tiny details that are different from others. So if you're painting together, don't fret if somebody's painting is a little bit different than yours. We're all going to arrive at the same destination. All right. And just kind of keep your brush a little wet so the paint travels more easily. And it'll be a bit cleaner. There we go. And go back in for a little bit more black. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing with the bridge. Just so, and it doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. All right. And then you'll see this line here. That is just to remind us that this is the bank of the river. So go ahead and outline that too. All right. Now, once you have everything outlined in black, we are going to move to the sky. So for the sky, I just put my black on a plate by itself, but I'm actually gonna take some of my ultramarine blue. So you have your color list. I am going to scoop up some of this ultramarine blue. I'm going to put it on my black plate. And then I am also I have this blue. It's called a Windsor blue. But it's very similar to a phthalo blue. So if you have a phthalo blue, you can sub that out if you can't find this color. And that'll be just fine. And I think there's the, I think that Anita's Craft Paint, if that's all you have, it's called a true blue or two true blue, so that'll work as well. So I'm gonna, and then let's see, I have a light blue violet. It looks like this. It looks like a lavender. So what I'm gonna do is blend these colors together. And I'm gonna put more ultramarine blue than any other color. So, okay. And then I'm going to just touch the black, just a little bit more, like a speck, a tiny speck of black. And I think, yep, that is my color. I want it a little darker. Let's see. I'll put it off to the side. All right, that's the color. So turn that speck into a little tiny plop. And it should look like that. All right. So for the sky is actually going to stop right here. Because we're looking at the bridge from a distance, okay? So I want to start adding my shadows in the sky. So it's just like a little mark here, a mark here. There's this dark spot right between the tree branches. And you'll see this canvas is actually a 16 by 20. So I had a bit more room on that one. So we're gonna make it work on this one. I'm just gonna make a little line here. All right. So we just plop in our dark blue. I'm gonna clean my brush a little bit. And I'm actually going to switch brushes. I am going to use a flat brush. It's a bit elongated, but a regular flat brush will do just fine. I am going in for some of my blue, my light blue. I am going to plop. I'm going to get me some white. All right, and I have some ocean green here. All right, now we just want to work all the colors together. We want to leave them standing still by themselves. By standing still, I mean leave the original color we have down and just kind of move around it, blending one only by the edges into the other. So we're going to kind of go over the bridge. We're going to go over the bridge. And that's why we use the black, so we can find the drawing after we paint over it. And feel free to leave some of these blobs of paint. That's going to give us some texture. And it's going to give the sky some depth. Yeah, and a wedge in between your trees. And out of all of those colors, our dark blue, our light blue, and our white, you can interchange those in the light blue violet and the ocean green. You can go back into any of those colors if you prefer one over the other. And this is just, now we're just kind of playing. We have all the colors we need. There's really no rules how to paint it. And you know, sometimes I like to grab another brush. It's a raggedy brush here. And I'm gonna keep it dry. And let's see, I'm gonna go in for some white. And I'm gonna get inside my bridge. And if you go over the tree land, that's okay, as long as we can just see the shadow of the tree or the shadow of the bridge, we're good. And we're just gonna work that down here. And we are going to stop about, so here, so I'm gonna say here. We're just gonna, and this is the dry brush. It gives a very cloudy effect. And it's okay if you get some blue on your branches. Look at that green. Well, it's an ocean green, but it's more like a light blue or teal, but it's so nice to blend with the other blues. And get some light off, right off the canvas. All right, this is still sky. And don't worry, we're gonna find the bridge again. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna get over here, and it's okay if you go over the edge a little bit. That is perfectly fine. All of this is going to be covered because this is going to be the grass on the side of the river. So we're just going to keep on. And I hope you have a paper towel ready because it is paper towel time. So just take your paper towel, dry paper towel. You're going to take your cup of water. You're going to just give it a few little dips, give it a good squeeze, and then we're gonna get back up here, and I want to find my dark blues again, and I want to find a bridge again. So we're just gonna wipe, and look, we have our bridge. Everything's still there. All right. We can wipe around the edge of the tree. All right. And look, there's some more tree. See, paper towels are good. Okay. And now I am painting with the paper towel. I know some of y'all don't like that. All right. Let's see. But the paper towels actually give a beautiful cloudy effect, and it blends much faster than if you use a brush, and a little better, but you don't want to press too hard. Just gently, just firmly and gently. That's how you use the paper towel. All right, so I think that is a nice sky for now. I want to go ahead and move forward. So the next thing that we are going to go to is our water. So it's basically the same steps because the water is going to reflect what's in the sky. But we also have a lot of flowers and little baby blossoms floating about too. So we're going to add some pinks and yellows and what else? We can still use our blues as well and white. Yeah. So I am going to use my light blue brush that I've been using for the sky. I am going to go ahead and dip it in my ultramarine palette and my Winsor blue. So, and my light blue violet. I actually want more light blue violet, so I'm gonna get a scoop of that, and it's gonna look like this. Okay. So I'm just blending that a little bit, not too much. We still want some of the colors to stand alone. Now, what are we doing with this dark color here? We are going to just make some little quick, little plop strokes. Okay? All right. I'm going to go back in and get a little bit more pure ultramarine blue. So, this little plop here. Okay, and I'm just kind of emphasize the spots that I just marked. And paper towel. And it should still be fine, a little damp. You don't want it too wet. And we're just gonna pull down. It's kind of like a little hopscotch on the canvas. You just want to bounce it down. Well, I guess not hopscotch, like you're bouncing, but with your paper towel and your fingers. So, and you just want to, it's not a swipe, it's not a wipe, it's pick it up, put it back down on the canvas. Little pitter patters going down. So just pitter patter your way in the water. All right, and there's no way to really mess this up. You just want to get that rhythm. Just kind of get that rhythm going. And look, it's always darker on the bank, so let's try to get that pink. I'm gonna go back in for a little bit of ultramarine blue. I use my paper towel, but I just want to get right underneath that bank. Because that's going to give us our shadow from all of the greenery that we're going to add. All right, and then maybe a little bit here underneath this big old tree. What kind of tree is this? I have no idea, but we like it. We're going to make it work. All right, so I think that's good with our shadows. Now, keep your paper towel on handy, and you can go in for another paper towel and damp it up. And I like everything to blend together. So we are going to add a little bit of pink. So I'm still gonna just use my little dirty brush. I'm gonna go in for some of this. This is actually a light magenta, but just grab any hot pink or bubblegum pink. Fuchsia, that works as well. So just kind of get your bristles in there. This is kind of a bristle effect, what we're about to do. So let all those colors blend. So I'm gonna start with this, and then we're gonna show you the rhythm that we're gonna find. So I'm gonna add some pink. Same technique as we did with the shadows for the water. We're just gonna start adding in some of the color. So we're just gonna plop it on top, here, here. And you know, I'm gonna actually keep going. So I have my pink, now I wanna get some white. We want all of these strokes to kind of be dry. So what I mean by that is don't put too much paint on your brush, and don't dip it in the water yet. So we're just gonna plop that. All right, let's work what we have right now. So I'm gonna go in with my same paper towel. I might wet it just a little bit on the other side. And we are going to actually lightly wipe some side to side. Water is different. Water's tricky. It's not like the sky. It reflects the sky, but water moves fluidly. And you're always looking at all of the shadows of everything beneath it. But what we try to do when we're painting water, we only want to hint at what we see. We don't want to fully render what we think water looks like. Water does what it wants to do. It's always blending. Like water is like painting, like it paints itself. It's very interesting. So right now I'm just rubbing back and forth. And it's okay if you blend it a little bit into the sky. That is totally fine. So this is very gentle. It's not a rough pressure that you're applying. You just kind of let that paper towel work for you. You're just kind of guiding it. We want to still see a little bit of those shadows, but we can blend as well. All right. And allow some of your canvas to peek through. Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit into the sky. All right, so y'all ready to add another color in? So we have our pink we added. We had some of our ultramarine blue and our ultraviolet, not ultraviolet, our light blue violet. And now let's see, let's add in some light blue. We added in some white too. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna go very gentle now from this point on with the water. Because I want everything to continue to exist as we put it on. What I mean by that is, I wanted to see a lot of my original marks on the painting. So I'm just gonna get over here. Okay, let's see, let's add a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit. Yellow is very strong. So we're just gonna do a few little touches. And it'll really open in this area. Because if we think about it, all of this greenery that we're gonna add is gonna reflect into this water. And so that blue and that yellow is gonna make us a nice little wet looking green, I guess you could say. What is it, that soggy, what is that stuff? I don't know what it's called. All right, but anyway, it's really pretty. The yellow is gonna also create some little light spots. It's like seeing reflections of light in the water. And we're still going gently. We're just going back and forth. And let's pull down just a little bit. And it's okay to try different techniques. See, I started pulling down again, but I don't like it. I think that what's telling me that this is really water is when we move from side to side. So, and get along those edges. Yep. All right. Let's add in a little lime green, just a little bit. All right, and I want to grab a fan brush is great for this too. You just kind of let it go side to side. And all we're doing is playing here. We're just trying to figure out how to find something that says, this is definitely some water. This is definitely some sky. And somebody can try and teach you that, but you really kind of have to just keep playing with your materials until you find it. So I am going to add a little bit of white here and here. And I'm painting with my paper towel. You can still use your brush. All right. And I'm gonna get me a new paper towel, so I'm gonna get my water and give it a dunk. All right. So I'm gonna just kind of pitter patter across here. And then I want a white. And if you make a mark that you just don't like, use your paper towel to wipe it up. You can wipe it up. This acrylic comes up really nicely. And what you leave behind after you wipe it up is often better than what you were intending on doing. So I'm going to take my brush with the light blue on it. I'm going to get a little bit more ultramarine blue because I want a little bit more shadow popping through here. So this is all about just repeating. There's no right order. I start with the shadows first because then I can just better see what I'm working with. But you can't mess this up. And I've lost some of my pink, so I'm going to add that back. So, just going to dip your brush should be kind of sticky, the dry one, because I haven't put it back in the water. And that works because it's not going to make the paint travel. It's just going to stay put. And if you find something that looks really pretty with what you're doing right now, like I'm loving this pink. So I'm probably gonna just add more pink. All right. And I'm just dipping my other paper towel because I got the other one too wet. So. You know, we could literally stay in this water all day, but we're not, so. All right. Okay. So I think that says that is some water. So now let's get to the tree. And then we can go back and just kind of give everything a little touch up or see if you can push it further. So for the tree, let's see, I'm gonna use an angle brush. You don't have to, you can use a flat brush. A big brush is fine too. So I'm just gonna dip it in some water. And now I'm about to go for my earth tones, okay? So what are my earth tones? I have some raw umber here. I have some burnt sienna. I have my black I'm actually gonna grab a little plop of black and put it next to my earthy palette. So, and I'm gonna bring some yellow over here. So I got a plop of yellow I'm gonna add over here. And I'm gonna go in with my raw umber first. And I have a little yellow mixed into it. All of these colors are going to end up blending, so it's okay if you get one or the other color in another. So, but I'm just going to start with this raw umber as a base for the tree. So we have our tree outlined. All right, so the tree is all of this white space. All of that. So we're just going to go right in. And as long as you stay in the lines, you'll be just fine. This is also good for paper towels too. Okay. And it's okay if you leave some of that canvas peeking through. See some of that yellow I touched just showing up. There we go. I'm gonna go in now. I'm gonna touch the raw umber, but I'm also going to get me some of that burnt sienna. And the burnt sienna is really just like a deep burgundy almost. Yeah. Like cherry wood. That's what it really reminds me of. So, I am going to add some of that. Let's see. Just little accents of it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit down here. Alright, I want some more. I'm going to get a little bit of black. And there's this little V area right here. Let's see. And we're about to blend all of this. So we're just making accents right now because everything is going to blend together. But I am going to use my paper towel with the blue on it because in this painting, every color ends up everywhere except the green. We're very mindful of the green. We don't want to put the green in our pretty blue sky unless it's ocean green. I'm just cleaning up my little boo-boo there. All right, so now you're just gonna wipe. Just pull down, leave some of your shadows. And don't forget the branches like I just did. And let the width of your branches just be the width of your brush. So if your branch isn't fully drawn out, just kind of smush your brush a little bit and that'll make it heavier. Okay. Let's see. There's another branch here. So just add it. Just kind of follow underneath that bridge there. All right. I'm gonna get a smaller brush. This is a small round brush I'm gonna use. I'm gonna get my raw umber and a little bit of yellow. It's time to lighten this tree up some. And just kind of, we're layering here, that's all we're doing. And this yellow adds a very nice highlight. Alrighty. So just keep going with this. You're just adding some accents. I'm gonna get a little bit of black on my brush. I'm gonna add a shadow. See, that yellow takes over. There we go. All right, I'm gonna get my paper towel. And I am going to wipe and blend. I want some of my canvas coming through. Kind of gives a natural bark effect. Let's see. And if your tree is ended up a little bit in the sky, no worries, because we're gonna put flower petals. So that's gonna cover up a lot of unintended marks. All right. I wanna add a little bit of white. And I'm just kind of dabbing it. Let's see. And I'm also going to add a little bit of this light blue violet. And if some other colors end up in my tree, I am totally fine with that. All right. And I'm going to wipe that too. We only want a hint of other colors. So I got some blue in my tree. All right, so now once you get your tree up, let's go ahead and move to the bank. So that is some green, forest green, that's right here. We're just gonna plop it just as it is. And we are going to put it all on the edge. So I'm using my fan brush. The way you do your fan brush, you just wanna use the bristles for now. So just lightly put it on your canvas and just kinda pitter patter with your paintbrush. So just follow this line, go around it, just like that, and go right up underneath the bridge. And my fan brush is actually dry, but it gives me the effect that I need. So it can actually look like foliage and marshiness, I guess you want it. That wet green is what I really call it. All right. And we're gonna allow the canvas to peek through. And so when other colors land on here, we can see those a little bit better against the white. All right. Yes, that works for me. So I want to add a little bit of, let's see, a little bit of black. I need a little shadow. I'm going to get the ultramarine blue, a little speck of black, and I'm going to put it in my green. And if you're afraid to add black to this, that's fine. Just add blue and green together. And that's going to give us a nice dark shadow. So we are going to just plop that in here. And then we're going to go right on top of our original line. Just like so. And if it falls into the water, that is totally fine. But don't get rid of that beautiful blue that you're having against the bank. All right, that's shadow enough for me. Let me get a little bit over here. All right. All right. I'm resisting the urge to play with my tree. It's taking a lot of self-control here. All right, so let's add some flowers. So how are we gonna add these flowers? I like my raggedy brush, I like my dry brush, and I like just the bristle tips. So I am going to start off with some white. I'm gonna wipe a lot of the white back onto the plate. And then I'm just gonna touch it and pick it up. And if you can barely see it, that's good, you're doing it right. So quick little dry little bounces is kind of what it is. Just kind of make your paintbrush bounce a bit. Just jump around. And let's see, let's get some other colors. So I did some white. I'm gonna get me some pink. Actually I have this beautiful pink and white color that I had created earlier. And it was just from us mixing up all the different colors. So like I'm adding a little blue-green in this, a little light blue in here, and a little bit more white. Feel free to mix up some of your colors. And then just do the same thing. So doing all of that, I have this lavender, very gentle patch of flowers growing on side of the water. You're gonna do this exact same technique all over this painting now. So get into your water, just sporadic. If you press a little hard, that is totally fine. All right, I want some more white. So I'm gonna just kind of keep going. And then if I want to see it end up on the canvas a different way, I'm going to grab another brush. Let's see. I want to make a light pink. So if you're going to do a light pink, you're going to take some hot pink and some white, more white than pink. Just mix that together. All right, and you see you get different shapes with different brushes. This I'm just rolling against the canvas. This is impressionistic painting. That's what Monet did. It's the idea of something. All right, and then I'm going to go back to my other old raggedy favorite brush. I'm going to get those bristles covered with a little white paint, just the tip. The tip is what's making the flower effect. And I'm just really just putting it right back on the plate and taking what I have left over, and I'm gonna make some more marks. And I want some pure white marks too, as pure as I can get them. So I'm just gonna almost like, are they floating? Are they flying? What is happening? There we go. Now we are going to do the exact same thing in our tree. I added a little bit of light blue to my white, just on my bristles. I didn't even really make a spot on my palette. And I am going to pitter patter all over these trees. Now, be very gentle. This is a very light technique. You want to feel like your brush can easily fall between your fingertips. All right. And just let it go up. Bring it over here. And my brush is still dry. I never dip my bigger brush in water. I'm gonna get me a little bit. So between all of these colors, you should have some really pretty soft colors happening on your palette plate. So look at that and just kind of grab whatever you think is gonna look beautiful against your canvas at this point. So I got some pink. I'm gonna add, so I plopped too hard. That's a hard plop. We don't wanna do that, but we're gonna make that work. Gentle plops. There we go. And your fan brush is probably the most natural brush to do this technique with, but it's covered in green, so I'm gonna keep going with this. And if yours is covered in green and you need it, just wash it really good. All right, I am going to go all up in here. I'm gonna get some more white. So this brush isn't doing what I want it to do. Give me 1 second. And that's what I mean by finding it. Sometimes something will work for you one way when you're painting something and it won't work the other way. So, let's see. So I'm gonna try this one. It's all rough. This is a chip brush. So let's see if this chip brush can give me my flower effect. And it looks like it is. All right. And this is all you really have left to do. So I'm just gently tapping it. And your bridge. I'm skipping the bridge. All right. And there is a branch coming right through the canvas. So just take your brown brush and just kind of wiggle it down. And then just kind of outline it with that yellow. Just like that. And then I'm going to take some ultramarine blue. And I'm just going to tap some of that blue right there. And take my paper towel. And I'm just going to kind of blend this away. Because we're still doing impressionistic painting, even though we rendered the tree completely, we still want that idea of something being there. And if there's an idea, then you don't really have to fully see it. All right, so once you're done pitter-pattering with your brush, go ahead and get a flat brush. I'm gonna grab another, actually I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna wash my brush. And we are going to do a painterly technique against the bridge. you're just gonna grab some white. So I just got my flat brush. Get some white. Not too heavy. All right. So what does a painterly effect? It means you are going to leave the mark that looks like your paintbrush. So we're just gonna, we're not trying to be exact with the bridge. We want the bridge to look like brush strokes. Did Monet do this? No, he did not. But we're gonna do this. It kind of goes. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we don't want it too lopsided either. And there's gonna be some areas where the bridge and the trees and everything just kind of disappears together. And that is fine too. All right, and don't forget there's one more rail for the bridge right here. And if you prefer your flowers over seeing that last rail, just make little marks in between. Just like that, like the tree's gonna hide a lot of that. Like here, you don't even know what this is, but it's the bridge. All right, and that is bridge over water. If you think you can push your painting further, by all means, keep going. If I was at home, I would keep going. Like now, I still want to keep going, but I'm not. All right, I know y'all did really great. Thank you.